Yes, welcome back. So in the previous topic, the previous video we've been discussing about what is the forging, so how the forging will take place. So then we have been discussed about the open die forging. So now we're going to discuss about so the next in this video we're going to discuss about an impression die forging and what we call that as a closed die forging along with the different processes like forging, fluring. All this process will be discussed in this video. Yes. So impression die forging. So mainly the impression die forging is nothing but what the impression will be there on the die. So same impression will be formed on the workpiece. So the impression die are what we call it as a closed die because in between the two dies were what we're going to be compressing. So what happens when we're going to compress completely, that is in between the two dies. So mainly the what the impression is there on that die, same impression will be formed on the workpiece. So here, so similarly now what happens? So the impression die forging is nothing but, so here half of the impression of the finished forging is sunk or made in the top die, and other half of the, that is the second die, and the other half of the will be impression is sunk in the bottom die. So how this impression die is made? So the shape of the what the shape has to be get on the workpiece. So it has been divided in the two parts. So first shape will be on the top die and the second shape will be on the bottom die. Whenever it is been compressed with the force or what we using with the cold closed die, so automatically the what the shape is there in the die that will be formed on the workpiece. So that is what we call it as an impression die forging or by using the closed forging die. So in impression die forging, the workpiece is pressed between the dies. What happens in between, you're going to press between by using the compressive forces, we're going to press between the dies. So as the metal spreads to fill up the cavities, so whenever the metal spreads to fill up the cavities, when it sinks into the dies, so the requisite shape is formed within the closing dies. So some materials which is forced out by the dies, what we call it as in a flash, thus a flash providing some cushioning for the die. So that because of that cushionings or the top strikes the anvil which we are going to be placed there, the flash around the workpiece is cut and discarded as a scrap. That is excess which is coming out from the die, that we're going to be cut and we're going to be discarded that as a scrap. For a good forging, the impression in the die has to be completely filled with the by the material, whichever the forging material we're going to place. So to get a good impression on the material by with the help of the dies, so the material has to be completely filled with the dies. So this may require several blows of hammers, or a single blow of hammer is not sufficient, because when you're going to heat the material and we're going to place, so it requires several blows from, that is the more force is required in the hammer in order to fill that uh, completely between the dies. So this is how the closed die, where you can able to see. So this is a anvil, where anvil and that we have been placed. This is the bottom die and this is the top die. Now we can able to see this is a hammer. Hammer is nothing but with the help of this hammering force only we going to apply the force. So here what happens? So this is an a top of part, that is a top die, and this is an a bottom die where we are going to place the workpiece in between. Now you can clearly observe this. What is the shape is there on the top die and what is the shape is there on the bottom die. So both will be in a will not going to be compressed here. But once when you going to apply keep the workpiece and we're going to apply the hammering force. See, for just one blow of an hammer, the material cannot going to be or compresses in between this upper punch and or upper die and a lower die. So when you're going to keep on applying the blow of hammers, automatically it fills. So it fills in this form. You can able to see in the second diagram. So initially we have been kept a workpiece in between the upper die and the lower die. When you start keep on applying the load, automatically it will not be in a single blow of hammer. So it will be in a repeatedly we going to apply the force. So it completely fills with the both the dies, that is upper die and the lower dies. So what happens? So now we can able to see, normally we place with the plain workpiece and we can able to see this shape. So same shape will be formed after removal of this dies. We can able to see the final product. So this is the final product, how the what is the shape will be there on the upper die and the lower die, that will be formed on this final die, that is the final product what we called. So based on this only we can able to get. So now we have to design a die in a such a way that based on the requirement or where we are going to use, so based on that we can able to design the dice, and by using the dice we can able to get the final part. So this is what we call it as a closed die forging, or this is what we call it as a closed die forging. So, or what we call it as a closed die or an impression. Why we call it as an impression? Because what the impression is there, same impression will be formed on the workpiece. So that is the reason what we call it as an impression, or what we call it as a closed die forging. So next, coming to the drop forging. So the drop forging is nothing but it utilizes a closed impression die. Even the drop forging also. So the drop forging utilizes a cold impression die to obtain the desired shape of the component. So the shaping is done by the repeated hammering only. See, whenever in the forging process, so the blow of repeating hammering will take place. Because the material will be hard, for a single blow and a double blow of hammering cannot be done, or the material cannot be able to completely filled with the in between the dies. So the blow of repeating hammers will be continuously will be there. So hence the equipment used for the delivering the blows are what we call as a drop hammers. So this is why we call it as a dropping forging is we want to use as a drop hammers in order to get the different shapes or a size. So the drop forging die consists of two halves. The lower half of the die is fixed to the anvil of the machine, while the upper half of the die is fixed to the ram. The heated stock is kept in the lower die, while the ram delivers 4 to 5 blows, and in quickly the succession of the material spread and completely fills the die cavity. So when the two dies are closed, so the complete cavity will be formed. So next, coming to the fluring impression. So the fluring is nothing but, since the drop forging involves only in a reduction of cross section, so with no upsetting, the very first step to reduce the stock is that is fluring. So the impression machined in the die is to achieve this what we call as a fluring impression. So next, coming to the edging impression. So this is also called as an preform. So this stage is used to gather the exact amount of material required to each cross section of the finished component. So this is the most important stage in the drop forging. Mainly it is what we call most important stage in the drop forging. So you can able to see this is how the blank, and by using the drop forging. So this is what we call as an edging process. So this is what we call as a blocking process, and from same material if we going to apply the different fluring or an edging process, see how we can able to see. And this is the finishing, and what this what we call as a trimming process. So now we can able to see fluring process, where the both the top die and bottom die in between we are going to place the workpiece and we're going to apply the load on this. So automatically even the edging process also it takes place in a same process. So this is how the edging, fluring or a blocking or a finishing or a trimming, these are all the different process can be done by using this dropping hammers. So bending impression. So this is required for those parts which have to be bend shape. So mainly the bending impression is to where it has to be required for a bend shape. So the bend shape can be also be obtained without the bending impressions. Even without the bending impressions also the bend shape can be obtained by using this impression. Then the grain flow direction will not be flow the bend shape, and thus the point of bend may be become weak. So to improve the grain flow, the grain structure in the inside the material, so therefore the bending impression is incorporated with the edging impression. So by using this edging impression, we can able to get the bending impression even without the bend shape. It does not able to, or it will not form on the workpiece. But even the bending of the material will be takes place by incorporating with the edging impression. So next one is about blocking impressions. So it is also called as a semi-finishing impression. The blocking, what we call as a semi-finishing impression. So the blocking is a step before the finishing. In forging, it is difficult for the material to flow the deep pockets, or what we call as in sharp corners or in deep pockets. Hence, before the actual shape is obtained, the material is allowed to have one or more blocking impressions. Where it is required, the shape is very near to the final one. So the blocking impression is characterized by large corner radii, and that what we call as in a fillet, but no flash. So this is how the bending impression and a blocking impression, and what the different forging process what we have been discussed. So it is one of the type of forging methods. Thank you.